Tonight, the question of essential businesses navigating the murky water of what can stay open and what should close. Also, $2 trillion stimulus package, where lawmakers now stand on getting Americans unprecedented assistance. Mixed messages, the orders we're getting here in Ohio compared to what's coming from the White House. And Health Hub.
What if you had symptoms, but you're over them now? Can you still get tested? And how do you know when you can leave your house?
Senior health correspondent Monica Robbins asks your questions and gets answers for you.
From the WKYC studios, this is What's Next.
And good evening. I'm Russ Mitchell at the WKYC studios.
And I'm Sarah Schuckman, coming to you remotely on this first full night of the stay-at-home order here in Ohio. Glad you're staying up with us, so let's get you started with the top coronavirus headlines. Well, Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer and Treasury Secretary Stephen Mnuchin appeared to be nearing a deal tonight on a nearly $2 trillion stimulus package to help American workers and businesses survive the coronavirus pandemic. But right now, there's no vote scheduled. The Ohio Department of Jobs and Family Services says a record number of unemployment claims crashed its website. Ohio will no longer be releasing numbers on a daily basis after the U.S. Labor Department asked states to hold those statistics for weekly reports. 564 cases of coronavirus have now been confirmed in Ohio. 145 people are hospitalized and 8 people have died.
We are now coming up on 24 hours since Governor DeWine's stay-at-home order took effect. But you possibly noticed today that some businesses you may think should close are still open. Consumer investigator Danielle Serino tells us why and what you can do if you work at one of those businesses.
We save our economy by first saving lives.
It sounds good in theory, but it's nowhere near reality. Despite a 12-page stay-at-home order from the Ohio Department of Health for everyone but essential businesses, just about every business is finding a way around it. These are just some of the emails I've received in the last couple of hours of people saying, why is my company staying open? We don't provide essential services. They're from people who work at a toy maker company, a beauty supply company, school supplies, a granite countertop company, home remodeling, and a car wash. I'm talking companies that make toys like Little Tykes in Hudson and Wheelie Clean Car Wash in Parma.
Like vehicle maintenancing, because we keep cars up to keep with cleanliness.
And according to the North American Industry Classification System, a federal agency which classifies businesses, car washes fall under auto repair and maintenance, which is essential. There were emails about design and remodeling companies, places that make pet collars and leashes, not food, even landscapers. And we found a pawn store open also in Parma.
They said the bank would be open, so this is like...
But this isn't a bank.
It is close, though.
And sure enough, according to the state's revised code, it's close enough. You know people aren't self-policing. I mean, they want to make money.
Sure, the economy is certainly a concern. We see people taking actions to stay open. Since we, are only able to interpret the list, we're just hoping that we get more guidance as to what the expectations are going forward.
There are laws if you break these so-called rules, according to attorney and friend Joe Diemert, up to 90 days in jail or up to a $750 fine. But it seems it will be awful hard to prove a company is a lawbreaker.
Everything could possibly be justified as essential, of course, in the minds of the person who owns the business.
Workers who are concerned are encouraged to complain to the State Department of Health, but given it's focused on getting crucial equipment to save lives, cracking down on most companies will likely take a back seat. Danielle Serino, 3 News.
Well, from the lack of supplies to the lack of hospital beds, Governor Mike DeWine and his team are working nonstop to get us prepared for an influx of COVID-19 cases here in the state. Our Laura Queso has the breakdown of what's next.
Coronavirus cases continue to rise in Ohio, and the state government is working to prepare for more patients by expanding intensive care unit capacity.
On average, we're needing our hospitals to increase that capacity by 50%, and our hospitals are hard at work doing that.
But it's not enough. In the days to come, Dr. Amy Acton says she's announcing a plan to utilize hotels and dorm rooms as hospital units. As for equipment like gloves, masks, shields, the state supply has been distributed to hospitals, but we need more.
This is why we have ordered non-essential or elective surgeries. We've ordered elective surgeries to be postponed. And we're seeing that happen across the state.
He's working with Ohio companies to make equipment. And what about the economy?
When people are dying, when people don't feel safe, this economy is not going to come back. So we have to flatten that curve. We have to do everything we can to separate ourselves from others.
Meanwhile, the president says people want to return to work and they will practice social distancing, tweeting, "We can do two things together."
I'm also hopeful to have Americans working again by that Easter, that beautiful Easter day. But rest assured, every decision we make is grounded solely in the health, safety, and well-being of our citizens.
The governor was questioned about different messages from his mouth and the president's.
We want to get this over with as fast as we can. We want to get people back to work.
And the governor also thanked many big names for using the hashtags Stay at Home and In This Together Ohio. Of course, now he's encouraging all of us to do the same and, of course, to follow that stay-at-home order, which we know is now in effect. Laura Queso, 3 News.
A prominent local businessman is catching heat for what some are calling his controversial views on the way the coronavirus is being handled. Mark Namick has the story of Bernie Moreno and a battle that began on social media.
On his way to Florida to see his mother, Bernie Moreno took a picture of an empty plane and added this message: "Planes and cars crash every year and kill people. Are we banning planes and cars next, or do we keep working to make them safer? Hashtag Reopen America." Reaction was swift, people describing his comments as irresponsible amid a health crisis, especially as a member of Metro Health System's board of directors. "I hope all of Cleveland's business community realizes what a dope you are," one person wrote on Twitter. Moreno spoke to 3 News Tuesday from Florida.
What I failed miserably at doing was capturing, obviously, what I was really trying to say, was that the governor and the lieutenant governor and the head of the health department are doing unbelievable work. Our healthcare workers, God bless them.
The economy at a standstill amid stay-at-home measures in Ohio and elsewhere put in place to control the spread of the coronavirus. Moreno says he was trying to get people thinking about how to get out of this crisis and prepare for the next one without such an economic hit.
This will not be the last virus or pandemic that we'll see, at least in my opinion. So how do we prepare for the next one? How do we put these social norms in place so when the next pandemic comes that we don't have to take this kind of draconian action? And that's where, that's really what I was trying to get across. Clearly, mission not accomplished.
Changes, he says, should include offering workers more paid sick time. About the charge that his statements undermine the work of health professionals?
If anyone at Metro or any other hospital or healthcare worker took that as anything other than the wrong way, from the bottom of my heart, I apologize.
Mark Namick, 3 News.
It was another day of very long lines as families flooded the Cleveland Food Bank today. But Lena Lai didn't necessarily find just desperation. She also found optimism.
2 hours before the food bank was set to open, the line of cars stretched for more than a mile.
Really rough. Because there's no food in our house.
And the need is real. Countless stories of struggle caused or made worse by the pandemic.
We all over here hurting, you know what I'm saying?
Trina Taylor didn't really want to share her story of tough times. Instead,
shout out to everybody, because we got this. So we got this. Honk, 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 honk.
She wanted to share positivity. Because in 3 hours, the Greater Cleveland Food Bank drive-through giveaway served 4,000 people, more than half of them kids and seniors, and 2/3 were first-time visitors of the food bank. Again, most here have never needed this helping hand before.
We're definitely seeing a new set of people that we haven't before.
That's heartbreaking.
It is heartbreaking. It is heartbreaking. And you know, we just want to be able to serve, obviously, as many people as we can.
The Ohio National Guard providing extra hands for distributing and packing each box with pasta, meat sauce, cereal, and more. About a week's worth of food for 2 people.
Stay blessed up and stay safe. Keep your praise.
The gratitude and attitude is what's infectious here.
We are strong, we are together, and we are Cleveland.
Yeah, we are. Don't forget you can always donate. The Browns' Baker Mayfield and his wife Emily donated $50,000 to the Cleveland Food Bank. The Cavs' Larry Nance Jr. donated $100,000 to the Cleveland and Akron food banks. $1 provides 4 meals to people in need. Lena Lai, 3 News.
And today marks a sad anniversary, 7 years since Eliza Sherman was murdered near the Galleria in downtown Cleveland. Her loved ones are determined to honor her memory as they have in years past. The group Justice for Eliza couldn't meet at the spot of the crime outside 75 Erie View Plaza with Ohio's stay-at-home order in place. So instead, they met online, gathering some 50 people for a virtual vigil this evening with a brief ceremony and shared memories of Eliza.
As difficult of a situation it is, the world today and also today itself in our world, I do feel like I'm grateful for the opportunity for us all to be able to connect in that way and remember my mom.
Her daughter, Jennifer, says it is so frustrating, but there are a large group of people committed to getting justice no matter how long it takes. Cleveland police never named a suspect in the case and told us today there are no new updates. And Russ, I talked to Jennifer earlier today, and she said of today's ceremony, we are all trying to improvise here. And I thought she's so right, especially as Ohioans are spending, many of them, this very first day at home. We're improvising. We're figuring it out as we go.
That is so true. I know you've covered that story from day one. It is just impossible to imagine what that family has been going through for the past 7 years. Let me ask you something. How you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm hanging in there. I think I like Lena's story, finding those little pieces of optimism to hang on to. I think there are some silver linings to what we're going through, the ability to connect with others and have that time that we feel like none of us ever have to spend on those things. I mean, hopefully we can all put it to good use over the next little while.
That's right. I'm very optimistic. We will see you later in the broadcast. What do you think about that?
Sounds good.
All right. See you in just a bit. Coming up tonight, there is still a lot unknown about the coronavirus, of course, and its impact on our bodies. But our senior health correspondent, Monica Robbins, is getting answers for you tonight. Hey, Betsy, ready for Wednesday?
We are ready for Wednesday. We're ready to see a little bit of sunshine, too. And I think we're going to get to see some of that sunshine. There is some rain that's on the way as well. I'll tell you all about that in your forecast straight ahead.
What's Next is sponsored by the Calvetta Brothers Floor Show. It's time to fall in love again with your home.
We have been getting hundreds of questions from you about the coronavirus. Our senior health correspondent, Monica Robbins, had a chance to sit down with Dr. Shanu Agarwal, the chair of infection control at Summa Health, to answer some of those questions.
If a person was extremely sick back in December or January before they were checking for COVID-19, could it possibly have been it then? And if so, are they immune from it now?
So the question of that, it's hard to really say at this point. It could possibly, that would have been really early in the time when we had the first U.S. cases. As far as them being immune to the disease, we're just not sure of that. Down the road, I think that we would be able to check for coronavirus antibodies. But at this point, that question is really unanswerable at this time.
I'm 66 and feel fine, but I have a 98-year-old mother who lives alone close to me. She's currently healthy. Is it still okay to visit her once a day if we follow hand washing precautions?
A loved one who is older is really at high risk for coronavirus. And unless it's absolutely essential to visit your loved one, I would recommend sort of staying away, especially to follow and support our state public health officials and what their recommendations are, because your loved one at that age can be at very high risk for catching the virus and becoming very ill from it.
What if you had symptoms, but you're over them now? Can you still get tested? And how do you know when you can leave your house?
You know, if you did have symptoms, it very well could have been coronavirus. And if the symptoms are much better, to test at this point is probably not going to offer much. What I would recommend is staying home, give yourself the 14 days, and at that point, after the 14 days, it would be safe to say that you're allowed to leave the house.
And if you have any coronavirus-related questions, just text them to us at 216-344-3300. Again, that is a text message. That number again, 216-344-3300. Betsy's back with us now, and did I hear you say sunshine tomorrow?
Yes, little tiny bits.
Okay.
We don't want to go whole hog as of yet. But right now we do have clear skies in Northeast Ohio, at least parts of Northeast Ohio. That's certainly very welcome. We'll start the day tomorrow with some clouds hanging around, and those clouds will continue as we get into the evening. But note, temperatures in the 30s in the morning, 50s in the afternoon. That is perfectly normal for this time of the year, so nothing really big to report on that. We do have some rain that's showing up on the radar. Not all of this is hitting the ground, though, so some light showers and sprinkles farther south. This is even south of US 30, mostly for our friends down around Belleville, Loudonville, over to Millersburg, and then Bolivar and Zoar, Sugar Creek, Dover, New Philadelphia, even over into the Carrollton area. And these showers are basically moving from west to east, so we're not expecting to see that progressing farther to the north. But the thunderstorms, the really nasty weather staying to the south of us, we don't have to worry about that at all. As a matter of fact, you see farther to the west, we break out into some peaks of sunshine there. And that's basically the forecast that we have for tomorrow. At the same time that we're getting into a little bit of a break, we are kind of waiting and watching to see how our next big shot of energy that is now coming into California is going to move eastward. You can see it's not just this Pacific plume, but we also have a lot of showers and clouds that are moving across the northern Rockies too. So you kind of see that everything is coming west to east, and that puts us in line for some type of showers. And it does look like it's going to be a couple rounds of showers, maybe some thunderstorms in there too. Here's a look at your National Design Mart hour by hour forecast. We do have the sprinkle chances that linger, especially south and east, but I really think for the most part, we'll see that quickly clearing out as we go through the morning tomorrow. We'll break out into some sun with some clouds hanging around too. But it does look like the temperatures tomorrow are going to be warmer. We'll be in the 50s. Note that it is cooler along the lakeshore, while tropical Dover gets close to the 60-degree mark. So everybody will have a chance to go outside, take a deep breath, socially distance with the neighbors, but check on everybody. You know the drill by now. But the key here is that cooler lakeshore, warmer south. That will start to change a little bit because we will see the winds spinning around by the time we hit Wednesday night into Thursday. All of us staying warmer Wednesday night, and that should help to propel us on Thursday. After a start with some sunshine, later in the day you can see the clouds start to fill in, and we may even bring some shower chances, especially later in the day Thursday. That then carries over into Friday and Saturday and Sunday. Yeah, it's that stuff out west that's coming at us. So here's a look at your Universal Windows Northeast Ohio outlook, and temperatures in the mid-50s tomorrow, but again, cooler lakeshore, warmer south, low 60s, all of us, and maybe even some mid, possibly upper 60s on Thursday. It all depends on how lucky you are. By the time we get into Friday, rain and rumble chances are back, and then another big surge of heat and thunderstorm chances will be here on Saturday. Sunday is kind of the flip day for us. Temperatures are going to be falling from the 50s. We'll bottom out in the 30s by Monday morning, and with mostly cloudy skies hanging around, we won't be making it out of the 40s, and it looks like that's really the trend going forward as we head into next week too. We had really hoped for some sunshine, but right now it looks like we may get into a little bit of an unsettled period. Russ?
All right, Betsy, thank you. Coming up tonight, the Summer Olympics from Tokyo on hold. Jimmy lets us know what our local athletes are saying. Next.
This sports report is sponsored by the people-pleasing people at Serra Auto Park in Akron.
Hi, everybody. It's the biggest sports story of the day, but it's more than that. It's a world story. The athletes of the world have been listened to, and they will not be congregating this July in Tokyo, Japan for the 2020 Summer Olympic Games. The IOC has confirmed that the Games have been postponed and pushed 1 year forward. The athletes of the world will be in Tokyo, hopefully, when the coronavirus situation is settled and calmed down. They will be there in July of 2021. This is historic. The Games have never been a postponed set of games. They have been canceled before, but not postponed. Now, how does it affect the Olympians, especially like a local Olympian, like this young man, Carlin Isles, What a story. On Team USA Rugby on the Sevens team, he competed in Rio. He is considered the fastest rugby player in the world. He's a Massillon Tiger, went to Ashland University, and he was a lock to go to Tokyo in 2020. But now, what about 2021?
I'm going to keep fighting, keep working hard. That's what I do. I'm all about the process, regardless of the result. And it's another year to get better and work on the little things that I know I can do to get better and have a great performance at the Olympics. But keep the support. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. And 2021, it's going to be a good year. Get ready.
Good luck to him. Okay, we're going to do it every night. Trent Williams, what is his situation with the Redskins? Is there a Browns possibility? His agent, Vince Taylor, came out today and said to the Redskins, hey, listen, either cut him or trade him. But he wants to leave you, and it doesn't seem you want him. Remember, the Browns loved him last year. They could either trade for him or if he's cut, work out a deal for him because they still need a left tackle. That's it for sports for now. Let's send it back to Russ.
Jimmy, I'm loving this Ralph Lauren, Eddie Bauer look you got going on there. It looks awesome.
Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you. I'm glad you like it. I'm glad you noticed, Russ.
I did, sir. See you tomorrow. And we'll be right back. Stay with us.
Here are three things to know for Wednesday. The number of confirmed COVID-19 cases in Ohio has risen to 564. 8 people have died and 145 are hospitalized. If you're in need of food and missed out at the Cleveland Food Bank today, the Second Harvest Food Bank in Lorain will host a drive-through food bank tomorrow. You can pick up free boxes of shelf-stable items from 3 until 6 p.m. And in the wake of the coronavirus, the Rock Hall says its induction ceremony is rescheduled for November 7th here in Cleveland. It will air live on HBO that night. Your calendar, Russ. I mean, well, things feel very indefinite in so many parts of our lives. It's kind of nice to see something like that that's always so positive for our city out there on the horizon.
That is true. And if you look overseas in China, I understand the Beijing Zoo actually reopened today, limited hours and all that good stuff. But hey, it's open, and that's certainly a good sign. We miss you down here, Sarah.
That's great news. I miss you too. How are you hanging in there?
I'm doing just fine. As you said, we're getting through this one day at a time. And, you know, when this is all over, we're going to appreciate a whole lot of things, a whole lot more, I think.
Very true.
All right, partner. You have a good night. Tune into 3 News Go at 4:30 a.m. Stay safe. Stay cool. Good night.
Thank you for spending the evening with us. 3 News, the most watched late news in Northeast Ohio.